CDH Films presents an animated storybook retold with Legos. The Titan's Curse. Book 3 of Percy Jackson and the Olympians. From the original novel by Rick Riordan. Narrated to you by me, Chris. The weather was cold and snowy, and it was 1 week before the holiday break. 14-year-old Percy Jackson, son of Poseidon, responded to a message sent by his best friend Grover Underwood, the satyr. So Percy had his mother, Sally, drive him up to the boarding school where Grover was waiting for them. The Westover Hall Military Academy. And he brought along his other good friend, Annabeth Chase, a daughter of Athena, and her good friend, Thalia Grace, a daughter of Zeus, to help him. After 8 hours of driving from New York to Maine, they made it to the school. It was very old. No doubt it had to be one of the country's oldest schools. It looked like an evil knight's castle with its stone walls and towers and a big set of wooden double doors. "Oh yeah," Thalia said sarcastically. "This is gonna be fun." "You sure you don't want me to wait?" Sally asked. "No thanks, Mom," said Percy. "I don't know how long it'll take us. We'll find our own way back, just like always." "I'm worried, Percy." Annabeth smiled at his mom. "It's okay, Miss Jackson," she said reassuringly. "We'll keep him out of trouble." Sally seemed to relax a little from hearing that. Also, Percy was just dying to get out of the car before she mentioned more embarrassing stories about him when he was a baby. After Sally left, Thalia said, "Your mom is real cool, Percy." "Yeah, she's pretty okay," he admitted. "What about you? You ever get in touch with your mom?" As soon as she looked back at him, he regretted the question. With that half-punk, half-gothy appearance, Thalia was good at giving evil looks. Then she said, "If that was any of your business, Percy..." Guys," Annabeth interrupted, "you know, Grover is waiting for us inside, and it's freezing out here." Their instincts told them there was something bad about the place, but all they knew for sure was that a fight was coming. As soon as they stepped inside, the door slammed shut behind them, and the lock made a clicking sound as if on automatic. "Okay, looks like we're staying a while," said Percy. They hid their bags behind a pillar and started down the hall, but in just seconds, a man and woman marched out of the shadows to intercept. They both had short gray hair and wore black military-style uniforms. "Well, what are you doing here?" the woman demanded. They'd been so focused on getting to Grover and finding out what was wrong, none of them had even considered making an actual plan even during the whole car trip. Then Percy said, "Ma'am, we're just..." But then the man snapped, which made Percy jump. "Visitors are not allowed at the dance," he said with a French accent. The man was tall, with a hawkish face, and his eyes were two different colors, one brown and one blue. "You shall be ejected." That made Percy guess he and the girls were going to get thrown out, but then Thalia stepped forward and did something weird. She put up her hand and made a real sharp and loud finger snap. It might have been imaginary, but Percy felt like a gust of wind rippled out of her hand and spread across the room. "We're not visiting," said Thalia. "We go to school here. You remember us. I'm Thalia. That's Percy and Annabeth. We're in the 8th grade. Whatever she was thinking, she probably just got them in even bigger trouble now for lying, and they were definitely going to get thrown out now. But then the man seemed to be hesitating. Then he looked at his colleague. "Miss Gottschalk, can you recall seeing these students before?" he asked. "Miss Gottschalk?" Percy thought to himself, trying not to laugh. "You gotta be kidding me." The woman blinked like she'd woken up from a trance. Yes, I believe I do, sir," she said, frowning at the kids. "But what are you all doing outside the gymnasium?" she asked. Before they could answer, Grover appeared. He looked just the same as he always did, with his shaggy hair and facial hair and his baggy jeans to hide his goat hooves. And he wore a hat now that his goat horns grew longer. Maybe he should have just cut them off. He looked just the same as the last time Percy saw him during the summer. On top of that, he looked just as young as he was when Annabeth first met him about 7 years before. That was the thing about satyrs. They grow and age twice as slow as humans, so Grover was somewhere in his late 20s, but still looked like he was about 15. "Hey, you guys made it," he said. "What do you mean they made it?" the man said. "The students live here." His tone made it clear he detested Grover. Grover swallowed and said, yes, of course, Dr. Thorne. I just meant I'm so glad they made the punch for the dance. The punch was great, and they made it." Yes, the punch is excellent," said Miss Gottschalk. "Now run along, all of you. And please do not leave the gymnasium again." None of them waited to be told twice. They left with a lot of yes ma'ams and yes sirs, and also some saluting, not even knowing for sure if you're really supposed to do that in a military school. "Way too close," said Grover as he hurried them to the gym. Percy looked back at the man as he glared at them from behind, and Percy suspected one of his eyes were possibly fake. Then he turned back and looked at Thalia. "How did you do that?" he asked her, "with the finger snap?" "It's one way to manipulate the mist," she said. "You mean Chiron hasn't taught you yet?" An uncomfortable lump formed in his throat. Chiron, the head trainer at the summer camp they went to, did mention to Percy in the summer about how he could teach him to manipulate the mist himself when he was ready. But the question was, why would he show Thalia first and not Percy, especially since he had gone to the camp longer? But of course, Percy only went there for the summer while Thalia stayed there year-round because she was really a runaway who had nowhere to go, so who could blame him? As for what they called the Mist, it was a magical force created by the Olympian gods to hide godly activity and monster activity from the vision of mortals. It seemed like the best way to keep people from freaking out. Percy and his friends were tricked by the Mist before they learned they were demigods too. Lucky for them, they had help. This was what their mission was about. Grover had sent them a message and told them that he may have discovered 2 unknown demigods and he needed their help. That was Grover's job, as well as most satyrs, to recruit demigods, and they haven't been too easy to find lately, as far as they knew. And finding 2 of them in one place was rare enough. They needed all the demigods they could get now because an army of monsters was swarming. "These 2 are brother and sister, biologically," Grover said. "They're about 10 and 12. I don't know their parentage, but they seem pretty strong. I know there's at least one monster here, and I'm sure he's trying to keep them from leaving." "Who is it?" Thalia asked. "You just met him," Grover said. "Dr. Thorne." Now, usually when there's a special event in a military school, the kids go absolutely nuts. Probably because everything's so strict the rest of the time and they get to have all the fun they want at the dance. "There they are," Grover said. "Over there, on the bleachers. Bianca and Nico D'Angelo." Both kids had tan skin and silky black hair. The girl just sat there while her brother was shuffling trading cards. "You didn't tell them yet, did you?" Annabeth asked Grover. "No," Grover said. "You know how it is." They knew exactly what he meant, and they've all had their own experience. When you first learn you're a demigod, usually that's when even more monsters start tracking you, especially when you're stronger than you even know at first. "Okay, let's just get him and go," Percy said. Thalia stopped him before he could walk. Thorne came in through another door near the D'Angelos and stared towards the kids. Thalia may have tricked Miss Gottschalk, but it didn't seem to work on him very well. We have to confuse him and draw him away with our scent, Thalia said. Just act natural and blend in with everyone else. Just don't try to stare at them. Dancing? Annabeth asked. Come on, go boy, let's go, Thalia said to Grover. As slow dancing music started playing, Grover was honestly terrible. Annabeth looked at Percy with a big smile. What? He asked. Oh, nothing, she said. It's just good to have Thalia back. So who do you think I should ask to dance? Percy asked. Me, seaweed brain, she said, playfully nudging him in the shoulder. Oh, right, said Percy. When they walked on the dance floor, Percy hesitated to hold Annabeth. I won't bite, she humored. Don't they have dances at your school, Percy? That was true, but he didn't say it to her, and he never really danced at one. So he changed the subject. So, you enjoying your new school? She had in fact transferred schools to live in New York so she'd be closer to the summer camp. Percy hoped he could see her more often, but so far, no luck with that. Yeah, but now my dad wants to move just when I was getting settled, she said. He took this stupid new job researching for a World War I book in San Francisco, and you know demigods can't live in California? He knew what she meant. During his first year at the summer camp, he learned that California was where the entrance to the underworld was hidden. So, you'll go back to living at camp, or what? Percy asked. It's more serious than that, Percy. I should probably tell you something. Then she paused. Hey, they're gone, she said. The D'Angelos, they're gone. They maneuvered through the crowd looking for them, but no sign of them. The D'Angelo siblings were nowhere in the room. Then Percy saw something shocking through the doorway. A French beret like Bianca's and some trading cards just like Nico's. Percy peeked outside the doorway and saw Dr. Thorne gripping the kids' necks as he rushed his way down the hall. Percy almost turned back to get his friends, but then he remembered they went the other way, and it might be too late by the time he found them. Then he thought about how Thalia controlled the mist and asked him if Chiron had taught him yet. The way she seemed more impressive started to bother him. He had nothing against her, but the way she was so good at giving looks and coming up with plans a little too quickly and controlling the mist started to annoy him. It wasn't her fault she was Zeus's kid, seeing people relying on her and get all the attention, and it wasn't like he needed her to solve all his problems. Besides, he fought a lot of monsters before, so he took out Riptide, his magic pen-transforming sword, from his pocket and ran to the rescue. After only a few feet, he stopped in a corner. At the other end of the room stood the D'Angelos, frozen in horror. Percy advanced toward them slowly and lowered his sword. It's okay, he said, trying to keep his voice down. I don't want to hurt you guys. I'm Percy, and I'm here to take you guys somewhere safe. They seemed too scared to answer. Their eyes were full of fear. But what Percy wondered more was, where did Dr. Thorne go? With a shocked expression still stuck on her face, Bianca pointed towards Percy. Percy looked over his shoulder, but then, whoosh! He dropped his sword and got pushed away and slammed into the wall. He was shocked to find himself pinned to the wall by what looked like a giant black needle. The needle poked through his arm, and Percy felt dizzy. Poison, he thought. Percy tried to concentrate and not pass out. Then he heard an echoing laugh through the halls. Years I've waited, Perseus Jackson. Percy tried to break free, but the needle was pushed in too deep. Then the doctor appeared, and something shot from behind him. A second needle impaled itself through the wall right next to Bianca's face. You will all come with me quietly, Thorne said, or I shall show you just how accurately I can throw.